I want to speak very clearly about how we got into this mess. One, Proposition 13 in the 1970s came about as a right-wing attempt to cut taxes for the wealthy. But it was seen as an attempt to help little old ladies who had bought houses in the 1950s and for $25,000 to $50,000 and were facing huge taxes as they became more expensive. Okay? That was a perfectly reasonable thing to do, but that was not the real effect of it. The real effect was, first, on corporations. It actually said that corporations could not have their properties reassessed beyond those 1970 limits. So we have corporations all over the state who are still paying 1970s taxes on property that is 10 times or more expensive and worthwhile. It now costs us about $5 billion a year in tax revenue to have that. Secondly, they instituted what was called a two-thirds rule. That is, you can't raise taxes either in a city or in the legislature without a two-thirds vote. This sounds like it's more democratic. It sounds like it's a supermajority, even more democratic than a majority. It's the reverse. 1/3 plus 1 controls because it can veto. And what happens locally is that you cannot get 2/3 because 1/3 plus 1 is always going to vote against any sort of revenue or taxes. And the same thing happens in the state legislature. Democrats have a majority in the legislature, but not a 2/3 majority, and the result is that the Republican minority control the legislature by saying no on everything the Democrats want. They're in total control of both the Assembly and the House by a total of 4 votes. 4 votes. 4 votes churning those things can change things. I have proposed a ballot proposition for the 2010 ballot, and we're trying to get it on the ballot now. It is 1 sentence long. All legislative actions on revenue and budget must be determined by a majority vote. Minority rule must end. Now, most people don't know we even have minority rule. The university isn't telling people that we have minority rule. The alumni don't know it, your parents don't know it, and most students here probably don't know that this state is run by minority rule. That can change, and it only takes a majority vote on a proposition to change it. It is that is crucial in not just the university's funding, but the funding elsewhere. What does that mean for action? It means, 1, the alumni of this university have to know that, but not just know it. They have to be able to put pressure on at least 4 assembly people and senators, at least 4 people in various parts of the state. That means you're going to have plenty of alumni seriously committed to speaking out locally on a regular basis. It means your parents need to understand that they are being taxed at the expense of wealthy people who are not paying their fair share, and corporations that are not. Well, that is crucial. There is a parent's tax. That is, when your fees are raised, that's what that really means. All right? If you want a tax revolt, your parents should be part of that tax revolt. Okay? You can do things about this. You can organize to write emails, send letters, etc. You can, do a move-on kind of thing, to write regularly to people in the Assembly and Senate all over before we have this 2/3 vote, and you can try to raise money to get this minority rule thing on the ballot in 2010. Now, that is crucial for not just this university system, but for all higher education and all education in this state. The Prop 13 2/3 rule is the reason that local school boards and local cities cannot raise money for education. That is why we have gone from the best education in the country to one of the worst systems. We are now competing with Mississippi for the worst educational system because of that rule. Because we have a minority rule, it is not democratic, right? The question is, what is the best way that we can organize completely? Not, you know, whether you, your parents, or alumni, everything else, but the important thing for you to know is you can change it. You can change it in all kinds of ways. Think of all the things you can do, right? This does not have to be this way. It is not the case, and notice you will hear that the people of the state don't want to fund higher education. That is not true. A majority of the people of the state voted for Democratic legislators who want to fund education, including higher education. It is the minority that is holding them hostage and holding us all hostage. That has to end, and you can do things about it. Now, there's one more thing that Catherine mentioned that's really important. Most people in the state, including our legislature, have no idea what a research university is as opposed to a regular college. It is really important that you tell them. What is it? What is the difference? One, the professors are the people who do the original research. We not only write the textbooks, we write the articles on which other people's textbooks are based. We do the work for those articles. You know, imagine if you had to take courses that with things that were given 30 or 40 years ago, like computer science 40 years ago, genetics 40 years ago, you know, just about anything, psychology 40 years ago, neuroscience 40 years ago. That's not the education you want. You want an education on what's up to date and by the people doing it. We train graduate students to become those people, and we train you to become those graduate students. Did you know that the University of California sends more people to graduate schools and professional schools than any other university? That's you. Thank you.